There are marks etched into the fabric of reality itself. Ancient symbols that have existed long before language was born, before civilization rose from the dust of primitive camps. These symbols live inside you right now, pulsing quietly in the darkest corners of your psyche, speaking a truth your conscious mind has never been brave enough to acknowledge. They are not decorations or accidents of history. They are keys to the locked chambers of your soul, revealing the parts of yourself you've kept hidden, even from yourself. In front of you are 4 symbols, each one simple in appearance, yet carrying within it an entire cosmos of meaning. These are not random shapes drawn carelessly on paper. They are mirrors reflecting the deepest currents moving through your inner world at this exact moment in your life. They speak of how you process reality, how you handle emotion, how you respond to fear, and, most importantly, what your unconscious is desperately trying to communicate to you right now, today, in this very instant. Before we begin this journey into the depths, I need you to do something crucial. Don't overthink this moment. Don't let your analytical mind hijack what's about to happen. Simply look at the 4 symbols for a brief moment and notice which one pulls at something inside you. Which one feels like it's whispering directly to a part of your being that has no words, no logic, no explanation. Your unconscious already knows. It always moves first, long before your conscious mind wakes up and tries to rationalize everything into neat little boxes. And if you're ready to explore the hidden architecture of your psyche, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is dedicated to diving deep into the unconscious patterns that shape your entire existence, and there's so much more waiting for you in the shadows. Each symbol represents a different psychological process, a different way your unconscious handles the chaos of existence. Some speak of transformation, others of protection. Some carry the energy of creation, others vibrate with the frequency of dissolution. Some whisper of order, others scream of freedom. Whichever symbol calls to you is not a coincidence. Something ancient and wise inside you recognized itself in that shape before your ego could interfere, before your rational mind could construct a story to explain it away. And now let me reveal something that might completely transform how you see yourself. But first, let's dive into what it means if the first symbol spoke to your soul.
If the first symbol drew you in, that perfect circle cradling a single dot at its center like an eye staring back at you from the void, then your unconscious is currently moving through a profound phase of centering, wholeness, and integration. This is the symbol of the self in its purest form, the ancient mandala that appears across every culture, every era, every civilization that has ever sought to understand the mystery of human consciousness. This symbol belongs to people who are not fragmented by the chaos of modern existence. You possess something rare in this world, an instinctive drive toward wholeness, toward bringing all the scattered pieces of yourself into a unified center. On the surface, others might see you as calm, collected, perhaps even mysteriously self-contained. But inside exists something far more complex, a constant process of integration, of bringing light to shadow, of making conscious what was once unconscious. You are someone who cannot live a divided life. You cannot pretend to be one person at work, another with friends, another with family, and yet another when you're alone. This internal dishonesty creates a friction inside you that becomes unbearable. You need authenticity, not as a luxury, but as a necessity for psychological survival. You would rather face painful truths than live comfortably inside convenient lies. The circle represents your boundaries, not as walls, but as a container for your energy. You understand something most people never grasp, that without boundaries there is no self. Without definition, there is no identity. Without limits, there is no power. You don't scatter your energy to please everyone around you. You don't dissolve yourself to accommodate others' expectations. You hold your center, and from that center, you engage with the world authentically.
The single dot in the middle reveals your relationship with consciousness itself. You are drawn to self-awareness, to understanding the patterns that run your life beneath the surface of everyday awareness. You question yourself not because you lack confidence, but because you refuse to live unconsciously. You examine your motivations, your desires, your fears. You shine light into the dark corners of your psyche that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You possess what depth psychology calls the observing ego, that part of consciousness that can step back and watch itself without judgment, without immediate reaction. When emotions rise, you feel them fully, but somewhere inside you, there's also a witness, a presence that observes without being swept away. This gives you a profound emotional intelligence that others find both comforting and occasionally unsettling. People often tell you that you seem deep or intense, and they're right, though they rarely understand what they're sensing. What they feel is your refusal to engage with life superficially. You cannot do small talk for long. You cannot pretend to care about things that don't matter. You cannot waste your precious life energy on pursuits that lack meaning. You are drawn to depth the way others are drawn to safety. Now, here's something absolutely critical I need to share with you about this symbol. Something that will completely reframe how you understand your current life situation. But before we get there, make sure you're subscribed, because we're about to go even deeper into territories most psychology channels are afraid to explore. This symbol appears in your unconscious during times when your psyche is demanding integration. You've been living with internal contradictions for too long, carrying parts of yourself you've rejected, hiding aspects of your nature you were taught to be ashamed of. Your unconscious is now pushing these rejected pieces toward consciousness, asking you to look at them, accept them, integrate them into the whole. You might be experiencing this as sudden insights, unexpected emotions rising from nowhere, dreams that feel more real than waking life, or a strange sense that you're becoming someone new while remaining exactly who you've always been. This is the integration process, the movement toward wholeness that Jung called individuation. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more completely yourself. Your greatest strength right now is your capacity to hold paradox. You can be strong and vulnerable simultaneously. You can be confident and uncertain at the same time. You can be decisive while remaining open to change. Most people's minds fracture under the pressure of contradiction, but yours expands. You understand the truth is not simple, that wisdom holds opposites in tension without needing to collapse into one side or the other. But this journey has a shadow. Sometimes your drive towards self-awareness becomes self-absorption. Sometimes your need for authenticity becomes a weapon you use to judge others who aren't on the same path. Sometimes your intensity pushes people away who genuinely care about you but cannot match your depth. The circle must remain open, even as it defines your boundaries. If this symbol was your instinctive choice, your unconscious is telling you something vital. You are on the threshold of a new level of self-understanding. Trust the process. Trust the integration. Trust that the pieces coming into consciousness are meant to be seen, felt, and welcomed home. You are the circle. You are the center. You are wholeness seeking itself.
If the second symbol captured your attention, that spiral beginning at a tight center and expanding outward in ever-widening loops, like a galaxy being born from a single point of light, then your unconscious is currently in a powerful phase of expansion, growth, and evolutionary transformation. This is not the symbol of someone standing still. This is the mark of a soul in motion, spiraling outward toward new territories of experience and understanding. This symbol belongs to people who cannot remain the same. Stagnation is not rest for you, it's death. You need growth the way others need security. You need evolution the way others need comfort. You need to expand beyond who you were yesterday, last month, last year. Your psyche is not a fixed structure, but a living process, constantly moving, constantly transforming, constantly reaching towards something greater than what you currently are. The spiral reveals something profound about how you process experience. You don't learn in straight lines. You don't grow through simple accumulation of information. You spiral through the same themes again and again, but each time you return at a higher level, with deeper understanding, with more wisdom. What confused you 5 years ago makes perfect sense now. What hurt you in the past becomes the source of your greatest strength today. You are someone who has been through cycles of death and rebirth, not literally, but psychologically. You've had to let go of old identities, old beliefs, old relationships that no longer served your evolution. And each time you released something, you felt the terror of losing yourself, only to discover that you didn't disappear. You transformed. You became more authentic, more powerful, more aligned with your true nature.
The outward movement of the spiral shows your relationship with the future. You are not afraid of the unknown. You are drawn to it. While others cling to what's familiar, you're already curious about what's beyond the horizon. While others resist change, you've learned to dance with it. You understand that evolution requires letting go, that growth demands sacrifice, that becoming who you're meant to be means leaving behind who you used to be. You possess a natural understanding of cyclical time, of seasons, of rhythms. You know that nothing is permanent, neither the good nor the bad. You know that darkness always gives way to light, and light always returns to darkness. This gives you a strange kind of hope that isn't based on naive optimism, but on deep trust in the process of life itself. There's something crucial about this spiral that explains why you've been feeling restless lately, why you can't settle, why nothing feels quite right anymore. Stay with me, because this next revelation is going to make everything clear. People drawn to this symbol often feel like outsiders, like they don't quite fit into the structures that contain everyone else. And they're right. You're not meant to fit. You're meant to expand beyond the limitations that others accept as unchangeable reality. Your purpose is not to maintain the status quo, but to push against it, to question it, to evolve beyond it. Your creativity is not something you do occasionally. It's how you exist in the world. You create new possibilities through how you think, how you solve problems, how you approach relationships. You don't follow templates. You generate original responses to life based on your unique perception and experience. This makes you valuable in ways that traditional metrics often fail to measure. But here's the shadow side of the spiral. Sometimes you outgrow things before you're ready to let them go. Sometimes you evolve past relationships, jobs, identities, while they still have emotional hooks in you. Sometimes your need for growth becomes a way to avoid dealing with what's right in front of you. Sometimes expansion is necessary, but sometimes what's needed is depth in place rather than movement to the next thing. The spiral also reveals that you might struggle with completion. You start many things, initiate many projects, explore many paths, but finishing can feel like a death, like closing off possibility. Your unconscious is teaching you something subtle, that completion isn't the end of growth, it's part of the spiral. Finishing one cycle allows the next to begin. If this symbol called to you, your psyche is in active transformation right now. You are shedding old skins, releasing old stories, stepping into new versions of yourself. This can feel disorienting, even frightening, because you're losing the familiar landmarks that once defined you. But trust the spiral. It knows where it's going. You are not lost. You are becoming.
If the third symbol spoke to you, that sharp triangle pointing upward like an arrow aimed at the sky, like a mountain peak piercing clouds, like fire reaching towards something higher, then your unconscious is currently moving through an intense phase of aspiration, will, and directed energy. This is the symbol of ascent, of ambition, of the conscious mind reaching upward from the darkness of instinct toward the light of awareness and achievement. This symbol belongs to people who refuse to accept limitation. You are not content with where you are. You are not satisfied with good enough. You have an inner drive pushing you constantly upward, demanding more from yourself, refusing to settle, refusing to stop climbing. Others might call you ambitious, driven, intense, perfectionistic, but what they're really sensing is your refusal to waste your potential. The upward point reveals your relationship with goals and purpose. You are someone who needs a target, a direction, something to aim for. Without this, you feel lost, scattered, purposeless. You organize your life around meaningful objectives, not because you're rigid, but because this is how you channel your considerable energy effectively. You understand that power without direction is just chaos. You possess tremendous willpower, the ability to focus your attention and energy on a single point until you achieve what you set out to accomplish. When you decide something, truly decide it, obstacles become irrelevant. You find a way around, over, or through whatever stands between you and your goal. This makes you formidable in any arena you choose to enter. The three sides of the triangle represent the integration of thinking, feeling, and action in service of your aims. You don't just dream, you plan. You don't just feel passionate, you direct that passion into concrete achievement. You don't just think about possibilities, you take action to make them real. This integration of psychological functions is rare and powerful.
You are drawn to mastery, to excellence, to becoming truly skilled at what you do. You cannot remain an amateur at things that matter to you. You dive deep, practice intensely, push yourself beyond comfort zones until you reach levels of competence that most people never attempt. You respect expertise and work tirelessly to develop your own. Now here's where this gets really interesting, and why you might be feeling a strange pressure building inside you lately. There's a hidden dimension to this triangle that most people never understand, and I'm about to reveal it. People who choose this symbol often carry a heavy burden, the weight of their own potential. You can see what you could become, and the gap between where you are and where you could be creates a constant tension inside you. This tension is fuel, but it's also exhausting.
You rarely let yourself rest because rest feels like falling behind, like wasting time, like failing to honor your capabilities. Your shadow side appears as harsh self-judgment. You can be more critical of yourself than anyone else could ever be. Your inner voice demands perfection, punishes mistakes, refuses to acknowledge progress unless it's complete victory. This inner critic isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to push you toward your highest potential. But it doesn't understand that growth requires patience, that mastery takes time, that becoming who you're meant to be is a process, not a single achievement. The triangle also reveals your relationship with power and hierarchy. You understand structure, order, rank. You respect competence and expect to be respected for yours. You're comfortable with leadership when it's earned, and you have little patience for incompetence in positions of authority. You believe in meritocracy, in earning your place, in proving yourself through results rather than words.
But here's what your unconscious is trying to tell you through this symbol. Aspiration without integration leads to exhaustion. Climbing without rest leads to collapse. Achievement without meaning becomes hollow. The triangle must be balanced. For every movement upward, there must be a moment of grounding. For every push toward the goal, there must be a breath of presence with what is. If this symbol chose you, you're being called to examine your relationship with success. What are you really reaching for? What do you hope achieving this goal will give you? Is the climb itself meaningful, or are you running from something below? Your power is undeniable, but power must be wielded with wisdom, and wisdom comes from honest self-examination. You are the arrow. You are the mountain. You are the flame reaching upward. But don't forget, the arrow must return to earth. The mountain has a base, and the flame needs fuel. Your ascent is real and necessary, but so is your humanity. If the fourth symbol called to you, that smooth wave flowing horizontally across space, like water finding its level, like breath moving in and out, like the rhythm of tides responding to the moon, then your unconscious is currently in a phase of flow, acceptance, and deep surrender to the natural rhythms of life. This is not the symbol of someone fighting against reality. This is the mark of a soul learning to move with reality, to dance with it rather than dominate it. This symbol belongs to people who understand something most never learn, that life is not a problem to be solved, but a current to be navigated. You don't approach existence as a battle to be won or a mountain to be conquered. You approach it as a river approaches the landscape, finding the path of least resistance, flowing around obstacles, adapting to what is rather than demanding what should be. The horizontal movement reveals your relationship with time and patience.
You are not in a desperate hurry to force outcomes. You trust timing. You understand that some things cannot be rushed, that ripeness cannot be manufactured, that certain processes simply take as long as they take. While others exhaust themselves trying to control every variable, you're learning the profound power of allowing. You possess a deep emotional intelligence, the ability to read the currents in a room, to sense what's happening beneath the surface of words. This makes you a natural mediator, someone who can navigate conflict by understanding all perspectives simultaneously. The wave itself speaks to your acceptance of life's ups and downs. You've learned not to panic during the low points because you know the wave will rise again. You've learned not to cling desperately to the high points because you know the wave will fall again. This doesn't make you passive or resigned. It makes you wise. You save your energy for what actually matters, instead of exhausting yourself fighting against natural cycles.
You are someone who has made peace with impermanence. You know that everything changes, that nothing lasts, that holding on too tightly only creates suffering. This gives you a strange kind of freedom. You can enjoy beautiful moments without needing them to last forever. You can endure difficult times without believing they define your entire existence. You live in the present more fully than most people ever do. And right here is where most people misunderstand this symbol completely. There's a hidden strength in this horizontal flow that looks like weakness to those who only value force. Let me show you what they're missing. People who choose the wave often get labeled as passive, as lacking ambition, as being too accepting of circumstances that should be changed. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of your nature. You're not passive, you're strategic. You're not unambitious, you're patient. You're not weak, you're flexible. And flexibility is the ultimate strength. Water wears away stone not through force, but through persistence. The wave doesn't smash against the cliff with all its might once and then give up when it fails. It returns again and again, patiently, relentlessly, until the stone itself transforms. This is your power. You don't burn out in dramatic displays of effort. You persist consistently, patiently, until reality itself reshapes around your steady presence. Your shadow appears as avoidance disguised as acceptance. Sometimes you flow around problems that actually need to be confronted directly. Sometimes you adapt to situations that don't deserve your adaptation. Sometimes your flexibility becomes a way to avoid taking a firm stand on things that matter. The wave must know when to rise, when to crash against the shore with force, when to recede, and when to simply hold still. The horizontal movement also reveals your relationship with ego. You don't need to be the highest, the fastest, the best. You don't need to dominate or control or prove yourself superior. You're comfortable existing at the same level as others, moving beside them rather than above them. This humility is genuine, not performative, and it makes you deeply, trustworthy. But your unconscious is also telling you something important. Flow without direction becomes drift. Acceptance without discernment becomes doormat. Surrender without consciousness becomes submission. You must know what you're flowing toward, what you're accepting and why, what you're surrendering to and for what purpose. If this symbol was your choice, you're being invited to examine your relationship with power. You have it, but you wield it differently than those who chose the triangle. Your power is influence, presence, emotional impact, the ability to change environments through your energy rather than your actions. Own this power. Don't diminish it because it doesn't look like traditional strength. You are the wave. You are the breath. You are the tide. And your patient, persistent, flowing presence is already transforming everything it touches, even when you can't see the evidence yet. Trust the current. It's taking you exactly where you need to go.
Each of these 4 symbols is more than a simple shape on a screen. They are archetypal patterns emerging from the deepest layers of the collective unconscious, appearing across cultures, across time, across every human civilization that has ever tried to understand the mystery of consciousness. Your instinctive choice wasn't random. It was your unconscious speaking, showing you which psychological process is most active in your inner world right now. Some chose the circle because their psyche is demanding integration, wholeness, a return to center after a period of fragmentation. Some chose the spiral because their soul is in active transformation, expanding beyond old limitations into new territories of being. Some chose the triangle because their will is activated, their ambition ignited, their conscious mind reaching upward toward goals and achievement. And some chose the wave because their deeper wisdom is teaching them about flow, timing, patience, and the power of moving with life rather than against it. Your choice reveals where your energy is concentrated right now, what your unconscious is prioritizing, what psychological work is happening beneath the surface of your awareness. And here's what most people miss. You don't belong to only one symbol forever. You are complex, multidimensional, constantly changing. Today you might be the spiral, next month the circle, next year the triangle. You move through these patterns as your life circumstances change, as you grow, as you face new challenges. This is why you need to subscribe right now, because we're going to continue this exploration into the hidden patterns of your unconscious. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into the architecture of your psyche. The beauty of working with symbols is that they bypass the ego's defenses. Your rational mind can lie to you, construct elaborate stories about who you are and what you want. But symbols speak directly from unconscious to unconscious, revealing truths that words cannot capture. A single image can unlock years of self-deception, can show you clearly what you've been avoiding, what you've been seeking, what you've been becoming without realizing it. Your symbol choice is an invitation. It's your unconscious asking your conscious mind to pay attention, to notice the process unfolding inside you, to work with it rather than against it. If you chose the circle, lean into the integration work. If you chose the spiral, trust the transformation. If you chose the triangle, honor your ambition, but balance it with self-compassion. If you chose the wave, embrace the flow, but maintain your direction.
Before you go, I want you to do something powerful. Share in the comments which symbol chose you and what this revealed about your current inner process. There's magic in claiming your truth publicly, even in a small way like this. And often, reading others' experiences creates unexpected insights about your own journey. If this exploration into the symbolic language of your unconscious resonated with you, if you felt seen in a way that most content never achieves, then subscribe to this channel right now. We dive deep here. We don't stay on the surface. We explore the hidden territories of the psyche that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. We bring light to the unconscious patterns that have been running your life without your awareness. Hit that like button if this journey was valuable to you. It helps this content reach others who are ready to explore the depths of their own consciousness. And if you know someone who would benefit from this kind of psychological exploration, someone who asks the deeper questions, someone who isn't satisfied with surface-level answers, share this video with them. You might be giving them exactly the mirror they need to see themselves more clearly. Your symbol has spoken. Your unconscious has revealed itself. Now the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you dismiss it and return to unconscious living? Or will you take this insight and begin the profound work of understanding yourself at depths most people never reach? The choice, as always, is yours. But know this, once you've seen the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Once you've heard the message from your unconscious, you cannot unhear it. The symbol you chose today will continue working on you, beneath your awareness, slowly transforming how you see yourself and your life. This is just the beginning. There are deeper layers waiting to be explored, hidden dimensions of your psyche that we've only touched the surface of today. The unconscious is vast, mysterious, and endlessly fascinating. And every symbol, every dream, every instinctive choice is a doorway leading further into the labyrinth of your own consciousness. Subscribe now and continue this journey into the depths. Your unconscious is speaking. It's time to listen.